All right. I think I just gave you a notification about recording.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. All right. So welcome to Life's Not Linear. If you could just introduce yourself and maybe kind of give us some background of your transition from like high school to college and where that started, what you studied, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so my name is Onesimus Morrison, and I'm from West Philadelphia. I went to Philadelphia High School for Business and Technology, graduated in 2012. Then I went on to graduate from LaSalle University in 2016, where I had a bachelor's in marketing and a minor in entrepreneurship. And that's brought me here today. And currently, I help run a business with my family based on investing in real estate.
Awesome. Could you tell me a bit more about your experience in school? I think, were you a fellow as well?
Yes, I was a UIF fellow. I believe I started, 2015. I believe is when I was first introduced to University Innovation Fellows, and I found it to be a really unique experience where I got to really kind of dive in more into innovation and what that process actually looks like in the real world. And me and two other fellows from LaSalle were able to actually take back a lot of what we learned, and we incorporated it into the culture of LaSalle. We even were instrumental in creating a makerspace as well on LaSalle's campus through learning from UIF. So it was a very, very valuable experience.
That's awesome. I've definitely gained a lot from UIF as well, and it like changed my collegiate career, I would say. So I was
So,
like super pumped to be in the program. Could you tell me a bit about how the transition was when you graduated going into industry? I don't know if you started your own business right away or went into industry first.
no, so the interesting thing about that, so even in high school, I kind of knew I didn't really want to work in industry if I had to, not for very long. So right out of college, I actually was asked by the director of our entrepreneurship center, who I've been working with since I believe like 2014, and he asked me to actually come on full time to work in our innovation factory, so to speak. And there, my main job was to kind of mentor students into thinking more creatively and kind of learning how to use the tools that they were learning in class to the real world, how to start your own business, what it takes to build a business from scratch, how to do the finances, how to come up with a good idea, where do you start, and just helping people to get over the fear of failure as well. That was a big thing that we kind of honed in on. And that experience helped me grow as well and helped me to realize that what I wanted to do in the future was not something stereotypical in terms of, oh, you go to class to get a degree and go get a job. I always, like I said, knew that I wanted to do something where I was not going to be held to that just stereotypical standard of living. And that has brought me to where I am today.
That is great to hear. I love like the teaching you were doing, and I'm wondering, um, a lot of people fear failure, and a lot of people don't ever like um, embrace it. And I'm wondering, how did you get to that point of where you were embracing like learning from failure versus like being afraid of it?
Um, I'll honestly say that while I'm more aware of it, we all still deal with that fear to some degree. It just depends on how much risk you have in any given situation. But for the most part, I believe it was when I watched different people who I had seen starting their own businesses and saw that they were putting their own money out. And I'm like, wow, that's a huge risk to stop school or to not go get a regular job. Is like, where's your money coming from? And depending on other people and things of that nature. So to see somebody go from not really having anything to risking everything for one thing, it kind of inspired me to know that no, this is the right path. I don't have to fear risking not doing what I wanted to do just because it was something that may end up in a negative situation, because every negative situation has something that you can learn from. And you just have to put yourself in the mind state to say, okay, I fell down, I lost money, or my venture wasn't successful. But if I backtrack and say, well, why do I think that it didn't go the way I wanted it to go? Or what could I have done differently? And now I know what not to do next time or what to do next time. Those are some of the key things that I think that we can learn from our failures and just mistakes that we make in general. Some will be bigger than others, but that means that there's bigger lessons behind those.
Yes, I completely agree. Um, so could you touch on when you jumped into this venture with your family and kind of how that was?
Absolutely. So in 2015, I believe it was, thereabout, we kind of all were more or less thinking about our individual circumstances in life, and some of us living paycheck to paycheck. Most of us had jobs, but either we weren't satisfied with the current station that we were in, and it came to us that, well, we have a large family, so why not come together, pull our resources to achieve something together. And that biggest part is financial independence, where you're in charge of your destiny, so to speak. And you don't have to have anyone telling you how much money you can make. You don't have people telling you what your limits are and things of that nature. And it's just a chance to get to a point together, one, getting closer as a family, and two, again, being financially free, which I think everybody wants, but it's not an easy process to get to it. And even we still have our struggles and we're fighting to get there. So um, that was kind of the genesis of it.
Mhm. And how was it working with your family in a like professional setting? How have you been able to balance like the different types of relationships?
I would say that, well, I would say for any family, you're going to have, when you're switching from, the comfort level changes, there are ebbs and flows in certain ways. But I believe that for every situation that has been bumpy for us going through the process of starting the company and starting the processes, putting things in place, you start challenging each other. Sometimes you get into fights, sometimes you have things that you have to work out. But I truly believe that it made us a lot stronger and more loving and caring towards one another, because when you have to go through a lot of uh, hard times together, you actually start to appreciate the little things that you all do for each other, and it helps the bond grow. So I believe that more than anything, it's definitely helped us come together more than we ever have. And that's the part that I value the most.
That's awesome. I feel like a really good perspective to have. I feel like on a previous interview, I was talking with somebody and they said they like went into business with a friend and that like strained their relationship. So I think it's cool to see the flip side of that, of how you can actually build stronger bonds and flourish relationships when going into business with like friends or family. So that's
Oh,
awesome
you
that you have that
definitely
too.
have to go through some things. Don't get, I wouldn't
Yeah,
get that confused.
yeah,
There's
yeah. It's not easy.
plenty to say, but I would say even if there's a strain, then you can, if you have the mindset of, you know what, after we get through this rough patch that we're having with each other, whether it's individually or whether it's several members, we'll be stronger for it in the end.
Mhm. Awesome. Looking back at all of your different ventures, whether it's in college and the fellows program, working on this business with your family, I'm wondering I want to know more about, why your life has not been linear and how like the different ups and downs and kind of roller coasters that you've had to ride and how you've kind of navigated all of that to, continue getting to where you are today, if you don't mind sharing?
No, absolutely. I would say the one thing that kind of sticks out to me is, and even still to a degree, I've never 100% known what it is I wanted to do in life.
Mhm.
And that has led me since, I mean, I've worked since I was probably 11 years old. I started doing construction with my uncles, um, learned valuable skills, but I knew that that wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Then I kind of elevated to taking on different jobs, like at LaSalle. I also worked for Aramark Catering. I worked for the Entrepreneurship Center at LaSalle University. And there are a bunch of different things that I liked about each, but I can't say one necessarily spoke to me. I would say out of all of them, the innovation and teaching students how to be more independent minded, I
Mhm.
think was the part that really grabbed me more. And invention, creation, things of that nature has been what has been more of my motivation as of late.
Mhm.
So it's been a challenge trying to figure out what really speaks to me, what makes me passionate, and things of that nature. And it's not something that I think everybody gets to find even in their lifetime. Some people never find what they really want to do in life because they typically go in the linear way of, oh, I'm going to go to school, get a degree, get a job.
Mhm.
And in this day and age, none of those things are certain. So, and especially now with COVID-19 and the different issues that we're having as a nation, um, it even enhances that uncertainty. So, for me, it's always been about trying to figure out not where I can fit in, but how I can make a path for me that is not necessarily comfortable, but something that challenges me and something that genuinely interests me. And what I've learned through different interviews I've had for potential jobs, like I said, my major's in marketing,
Mhm.
but I've always had more of a leaning towards entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity. Hope that answers the question. I know I kind
No,
of went
it
around.
does. I think it really resonates with me too, because specifically when you were saying how you don't know if you've found like that one thing that you love yet, or that like passion project. Because I'm kind of in that similar boat where, I've worked for a couple different startups, and I'm kind of just like testing things out. And in my head, I'm like, okay, when am I going to land on the job that I'm in love with, or something like that? And like you said, sometimes that never happens. Um, and there's just a lot of uncertainty in life in general. So it's like, I think with you talking about like financial independence, and if you can create that for yourself, then no matter the uncertainty, like you're gonna figure it out.
Absolutely.
Um, I'd like to ask one more question. And
Mhm.
then again, reflecting like on your experiences, what is like your most often given advice that you would want to like give to somebody today?
Hmm. That's an interesting one. I mean, because you think of typical ones like never give up, but
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier. I would say don't be afraid of failure
Yeah.
because failure is going to happen. It's one of those things that's inevitable. You're going to fail at something, but don't attach that failure to who you are.
Hmm.
Just make it a stepping stone to what you're going to do next. That's to me one of the most important things I could probably say to anybody because failure is universal. And even if you fail in a small way or a big way, there's something to learn, something to gain from it, and just try and find a way to calm down, relax, and look at things in a way of growth and not so much as a hindrance or a challenge. Just look at it as something that you will overcome, excuse me, and that you will learn from.
Thank you. Um, I feel like there's so much more to know about you. Is there anything maybe I didn't touch on that you would like to share? um,
Mm,
about any experiences, anything about life. And I'm always down to do another interview as well.
oh, sure. I mean, if you have any other topics or anything,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah, with this one, it's just kind of like getting to know a bit about how people have like navigated their failures and tough moments and ambiguity to like get to where they are. And then from there, I kind of get to know more about you, and then maybe we can touch more on like entrepreneurship or something like that. But I just didn't know if there's anything else that you wanted to share.
Um, uh,
Try, take a minute.
this is thinking of anything at the moment, but I guess about me, I'm always learning different things, and even in the situation I'm in now, while it's what I wanted to happen in terms of not working for a corporation or anything like that,
Mhm,
there's definitely a lot of things that I've noticed about myself where areas where I need to grow, and taking my own advice, sometimes failure still frustrates me,
mhm,
100%. And it's just a practice that I'm learning myself. So I'm not just telling people to do something that, I don't do myself. So,
mhm.
uh, yeah,
Thank you for getting on this call with me today and for sharing. I really appreciate you like sharing a bit of your story and your advice. And I really resonated with how you were saying, some people, you may not ever find like that one thing, but keep trying and keep testing things. Um, well,
I,
I'm excited to talk again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.